Through a Freedom of Information Act declassifications in 1994, Colonel Philip J Corso, along with UFO investigator William J. Barnes, first published The Day After Roswell, a book describing the dissemination of technology retrieved from UFO crashes, in particular Roswell. There's so much more to it. Let's explore. Hi everyone, and welcome to Project Blue Book, the place for the exploration of all things unidentified. I am Thor, and thanks for tuning in. To say that Colonel Corso was an insider is an understatement. He had top secret clearances and met privately with President Eisenhower. But to call him a whistleblower is also inaccurate because he didn't come forward until the information he was responsible for was released through the Freedom of Information Act, and most all the parties he dealt with at the time had already passed on. He released the book in 1994, 3 short years after his boss at the Pentagon, General Arthur Trudeau, had passed on. Philip J. Corso was in General Patton's army in Africa, pushing Nazis off the continent, and then he invaded Italy to push Mussolini out of Rome. He was instrumental in securing civil government in Italy following the war, fighting off fascists, communists, and the Sicilian mafia. A major in the army at the time, he transitioned to Fort Riley, Kansas, where he acquired his intelligence training and by chance happened to see the 30 wooden Roswell crates delivered to Kansas on their route to Wright-Patterson, Ohio on July 6, 1947. They had just arrived from Fort Bliss, Texas, the Army headquarters, where on July 5th, General Roger Ramey of the Army Air Force 8th oversaw the retraction of Jesse Marcel's statement, reversing the 509th Roswell Base Commander's Beau Blanchett statement that a UFO had been recovered, and sending Jesse before the media wolves to claim he made a mistake. All he saw was a weather balloon. The U.S. Air Force split from the Army in September 1947, strangely only a few short weeks after the Roswell incident on July 4th, 1947. In Kansas, Philip Corso had a chance to view the bodies of the 4-foot grays in a liquid formaldehyde through the glass window casket inside a casket where they continue to decompose on their journey through Wright Airfield, Ohio to Walter Reed Medical Center Autopsy Department in Bethesda, Maryland, a couple of days later. In Roswell, the 509th Regiment of the U.S. Army had successfully retrieved a delta-shaped craft off a ranch north of town on orders from Admiral Roscoe Hillenkotter, and they were successful in staving off civilians as well as police, even if many eyewitnesses got a peek at the site during retrieval and saw the artifacts and the biological entities, to speak of it later. The 5 inhabitants were put on gurneys. 3 were already dead, 1 alive with difficulty breathing, communicating pain and sadness telepathically, and another seriously injured after being shot several times by Army soldiers who lost their cool at the sight of these creatures. To them, they looked like children, but not human at all. The Roswell crash, the most famous and best known UFO crash case, will be covered in another episode, but it is mentioned here only to establish a proper chain of custody for the alien technology. Another fact to support the reality of the Roswell crash is the flurry of top-level actions taken immediately after and exists in documentation. Roswell led to the establishment of the Majestic 12 by Harry Truman to oversee retrieval, R&D, hush-ups, and cover stories, as well as secret budgeting for all of this within the military budget. It established the need for black budgets, so secret, not even subsequent administrations needed to know the details. The Majestic 12 included Nathan Twining, Command General of Materiel at Wright-Patterson, who recommended to Truman the establishment of the M12 Group, Admiral Roscoe Hillenkotter, Defense Secretary James Forrestal, Dr. Vannevar Bush, head of U.S. government scientific R&D, General Hoyt Vandenberg, General Robert Montague, and a number of prominent scientists involved with the Manhattan Project and the missile program. They would all become Eisenhower's group of national security advisors. It's very real. At Fort Riley, Kansas, Corso read the shipping manifest and route report. The 30 wooden crate containers left Kansas, and he did what he did best. He didn't talk about it with anyone. Now an intelligence officer, Corso served with General Arthur Trudeau in Korea, a friendship that would later land him a job at the Pentagon, and he was then assigned to New Mexico to oversee intelligence regarding missile R&D. Then he shipped to Germany, where he oversaw anti-missile testing a few short miles from the Iron Curtain, until he returned to Washington to work for Eisenhower's national security team in the late 50s. It was in 1961 that he was assigned to the Foreign Technology Desk at the Pentagon. It was General Arthur Trudeau, head of the Army's Research and Development at the Pentagon, that wanted him there because he trusted him, and Trudeau trusted no one. He showed him a secret file cabinet and told him there are boxes more in the basement, and that he should guard it, oversee it, study it, and decide what to do with it. They included files, photos, strange artifacts, wires, unfamiliar gadgets, and more. Looking at the pictures, Corso immediately realized these were the records and sample artifacts for the contents of the 30 wooden crates he had seen way back in Kansas, coming a full circle back into his own custody 14 years later. It was a treasure trove of technology, alien to man at the time, and he concocted a plan to disseminate this information as ordered by Trudeau. He referred to it as the nut file. He had to keep it secret, said Trudeau, because the CIA was everywhere, and if the CIA knew about it, the KGB would know about it as well. This spy thriller was real, and it is likely that this technology led to our Cold War victory, that the technology applicable to the Star Wars system was so far ahead of what the Soviet Union could accomplish, duplicate, or afford, that it became the checkmate that ended the Cold War and the Soviet Union. If you ever wondered what happens to Black Ops budgets through the Pentagon, this is one example of it. The good news is, good things have come of it, and the money circles back into the economy through military contractors assigned to reverse engineer the objects. And they rightfully call it research and development, because it is, establishing both origins and ownership. By unlocking the key to the reverse engineering, they were allowed to own it. Corso's idea to Trudeau was to do nothing out of the ordinary, nothing different. It would be business as usual, assigning military contractors the task of building technology for the military, and in turn, they could exploit it commercially as well. It made a lot of sense, and it made a lot of people incredibly wealthy. The contractors included Bell, Northrop Grumman, DuPont, General Electric, Baird Corporation, IBM, Hughes Research, Fairchild Semiconductor Corporation, McDonnell Douglas, Lockheed, and General Dynamics. Let's remember Corso's tenure overseeing the Foreign Technology Desk between early 1961 and the end of 1963. The technology he disseminated included, in no particular order, night vision goggles. The alien greys have black lenses over their eyes, not just for protection against harsh sun rays on Earth, but it also enables them to see at night, as if it were day, which is what the first responders to Roswell noted. Looking through the glass ceiling of the craft in the middle of the night, it looked like daylight outside. Corso started disseminating the night vision technology in 1961, and the first prototypes were tested by the Army in Vietnam in 1963. The system wasn't patented until 1982 by the Baird Corporation, but the story continues. In 2016, it appears IBM leaked information about contact lenses that make you see daylight at night. Remember the Greys and their black lenses. 1961. Fiber optics. It's the foundation for high-volume rapid digital communication and was presented as workable technology in 1970 by Maurer, Kex, and Schultz. But in 1961, yes, 1961, Elias Snitzer of American Optical first published a theoretical description of fiber optics and how it would work. In 1961. The patent for microcircuitry semiconductors, the foundation for personal computer technology and smartphones, was filed on April 25, 1961, by Robert Noyce of Fairchild Semiconductor Corporation. It was tested on a Minuteman missile in 1962. Remember, Corso oversaw missile testing in New Mexico and in Germany, and Robert Noyce later became the founder of Intel. 1961. Kevlar was introduced by DuPont in 1965, and their staff scientist in research and development, Stephanie Kolek, was introduced as the inventor. It shows the seamless integration of the reverse engineering into research and development departments at existing military contractors, originating at the Army's Foreign Technology Desk, overseen by Philip Corso, with the word foreign gaining a whole new and different meaning. It wasn't French helicopters or Soviet Sputnik stuff. It was literally out of this world foreign. Kevlar, a soft bendable material stronger than steel, was first used for tires, but later became the foundation for military gear, equipment, and body armor protection. 1965. Stealth technology. In 1971, the Air Force Foreign Technology Division, in collaboration with Lockheed, introduced Echo 1, a radar evading program, and Northrop added their curvature technology, and the surface paint was the third ingredient for success. And in April 1977, the B-2 bomber was introduced with stealth technology. Laser beams had multiple applications, not just the ability to point a low-voltage infrared point of light as a cursor at distance, but also as a surgical precision instrument that cuts through steel, bone, and anything. Hughes Research Laboratories introduced the early versions of laser technology in July 1961. After leaving the Foreign Technology Desk at the Pentagon in 1963, Colonel Corso continued to serve as expertise staff for Senator Strom Thurmond on the Hill, and he joined the Warren Commission to investigate the assassination of President Kennedy. Just imagine for a moment this man's life's journey, and what a life story it is. The reason I am convinced of this all being true is not by simply believing. I became convinced by following the trail of factual information. The mystery began as a military story, then it became a story of technological invention. It's about the end of the Cold War, and it ultimately is about the quantum leap of evolution our civilization suddenly and unexpectedly took in the latter part of the 20th century. It's a leap forward that corresponds exactly with the timeline of the reverse engineering of alien technology. The people were there at the right time and right place. The timeline of when technologies got introduced to our civilization through corporate military contractors' R&D departments, it's all there, and the patent registration is spot on accurate to the timeline. It all perfectly matches Corso's claims. As a result, it can be concluded that our current technological capabilities, our leaps in evolution of know-how, are the direct results of the retrievals of alien technology. First they came from crashes, and then they've been achieved through collaboration agreements, a topic for another episode. You can watch and listen to this and other podcasts on Project Blue Book, the place for the exploration of all things unidentified. Each day, let's practice compassion and kindness, and please subscribe. I am Thor, and thanks for listening. See you next time.